son of Zayd radiallahu anh, his adopted son, his previously so-called adopted son, Usama bin Zayd, to go and to the conquest of Palestine. So he's still worried. Rasulullah is still worried because Masjid Aqsa, for example, is not in the control of the Muslims right now. It is still under the rule of the Byzantine Empire. So he sends Osama bin Zayd to that mission. But as soon as at the end of Safar, when Osama bin Zayd is being sent to the mission, Rasulullah falls sick. Extreme high fever, extremely high fever. Rasulullah develops. Before he passes away, he visits before getting sick, he visits Uhud, prays for the people of Uhud. He goes to the graveyard Baqi al-Gharqad. Baqi al-Gharqad, I don't know if you know. Have you heard of Jannatul Baqi? Okay, what is Jannatul Baqi? It's actually the name of the graveyard in Medina where all of the Sahaba are buried, right? Not all of them, but you know what I mean. Most of them. So Rasulullah often used to go to Baqi al-Gharqad, but right before he passed away, he came to Baqi al-Gharqad. There was another sign. So Rasulullah, okay, we'll get to that in a second. I'll talk about it. So Rasulullah falls really sick. He has these days with each one of his wives. He starts to feel so sick that he seeks permission from his wives. Can I just go and stay in Aisha's house? And I'm just going to stay there because he doesn't have the strength. So obviously all of the wives gives him the permission. Look at him asking for permission from his wife to be in Aisha's house, he basically stayed there until his last days. But he continues to lead the salah. He leads really short salahs, really short salahs because he doesn't have any strength. He has a tremendous amount of fever. And eventually, so he falls sick around Rabiul Awwal. So Muharram, Safar, right after Hajj, right? Muharram, Safar, Rabiul Awwal, first or second Rabiul Awwal, he starts to fall sick, and then and in just 4 or 5 days, he is so weak he can't lead the prayer anymore. So the last prayer he actually leads in the Masjid al-Nabawi is the Maghrib Salah on the Friday of Rabiul Awwal 6th or 7th, and he reads Surah Al-Mursalat. By the way, what is Surah Al-Mursalat? Just so that you can navigate the Quran in your head. Those who are not familiar, you know Surah Naba, Amma Yatasa'alun, right before that surah. The end of Juz 29 is the last surah, Surah Mursalat. So if you're curious, check it out. Anyways, that's the last salah he's able to lead. After that, he didn't have strength to lead Isha, and then he commands Abu Bakr to lead the prayer. Okay. This is the Sunni narrative. Obviously, there's a Shia narrative, but we're gonna get to that in a bit, inshallah, after Maghrib. So he doesn't have any strength. He commands Abu Bakr to lead. This is the first time that obviously nobody is leading Salah in Medina except Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is the first time that somebody else is now leading the Sahaba in Salah. Actually, that happened once before. Rasulullah was late for a particular reason, but basically Rasulullah took over that Salah. Okay, Abu Bakr was leading one time, some time ago, and then as soon as Rasulullah came back because he was late, Abu Bakr stepped back into the first row and Rasulullah started to lead. But this is the first time Abu Bakr is leading all of Isha. Okay, so he led all of Isha. Rasulullah is really sick. It was the Friday khutbah. He said quite a few things, and this is important. And we're going to go over these things very quickly. He told them, don't make my grave a site of worship. He said that do not make my grave a site of worship. Like don't worship, bow down to me. He also said, he also wanted to make sure that he obviously was anticipating that he's going to pass away. Nobody else is anticipating that. Everybody's just worried that he's really sick, but nobody's expecting Rasulullah to pass away. So he's asking people, do I owe you money? Do I owe you money? Do I owe you money? Do I owe you? What so hard on people that one Sahabi just gave up and said, okay, Rasulullah, you owe me 3 dinars. And he's like, I'm only telling you this because you're so insisting, because I feel like if I don't follow your command that I'm going to be sinful. That's the only reason I'm telling you you owe me 3 dinars. He also asked Aisha radiallahu anha that how much money do I have left? So she's like, okay, you have 7 silver coins left in your name. And then he held them in his palm and said, how can I meet God with when I still have this much money? By the way, imagine how many millions and billions of dollars he came across, right? All of this war booty, and he had nothing for himself. He even gave away the last few literally pennies he had before passing away. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There's a lot of I'll send you the video, you guys watch it, it's really, really beautiful. I just want to hit the highlights here very, very quickly. So Abu Bakr starts to lead. What does that mean, by the way, when Abu Bakr starts to lead the salah? What does that mean?
It's time for
Yeah, it's a sign of Khalifa. Rasulullah actually ordered for him to. He didn't say he's the Khalifa, he's the one after me, but what did he indirectly say? He's now going to lead the salah. Okay. All right. Then the next day he starts to feel a little bit better. Again, there's some mixed stories. You have to put all of the hadiths together. Not exactly sure when happened what happened when exactly. So don't quote me on any of this. But he starts to feel a little bit better, and he comes to join the Jama'ah. This is Saturday or Sunday on Dhuhr, Rabiul Awwal 10 or 11. Okay, the scholars, there's a conflict in understanding whether it was a Saturday or a Sunday, but he comes to join the Jama'ah. Abu Bakr is leading the Dhuhr Salah, and everybody starts to get really excited that Rasulullah is actually coming after so many days to actually join us. So Abu Bakr steps back. It's because he wants Rasulullah to lead, and obviously Rasulullah motions to him, stay in your place, and but Abu Bakr disobeys in a way, so he makes Rasulullah sit because he didn't have strength, right? He has tremendous amount of fever, he has zero energy, so he's actually sitting in the place of the Imam, and Abu Bakr is standing right next to him. Okay? And he's leading on behalf of Rasulullah. So all of the Sahaba are actually following Abu Bakr in a way. But Rasulullah, that was the last Jama'ah he was in. He made some additional statements that do not hate the Ansar after me. He also said to cleanse the Arabian Peninsula from filth, which is disbelief, to rid all the pagan worship from Jaziratul Arab. He also said, be kind to all of the delegations just be kind to all of the people that are coming to visit. All the delegations, right? All of these other areas and tribes they're coming to. It's like Islam is big now, right? It's everybody's interest in what's going on. There's so much growth of Muslims who are Muslims, so everybody's coming and visit. So Rasulullah says, be kind to the delegations that come, just like I've been kind to them. Then he also spoke about the importance of salah. He said, as-salah, as-salah. These are some of his last words, by the way. Prayer is important. Prayer, basically, be careful, guard your prayer and fear Allah, and don't oppress the weak people. And basically they'll have a chance to complain on the day of judgment. So Rasulullah passes away on a Monday. So let's just talk about the passing. The last thing, that the Fajr of Monday, Abu Bakr is leading the Fajr Salah, okay? And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has a little bit of strength. And remember the house of Aisha is right next to the masjid, right? And then you can see, yeah? So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam steps, I think still sitting down in a way, Steps outside. He has a curtain. Obviously, there's no door. So he opens up the curtain and smiles, looking at the people praying, all of his companions praying the Fajr Salah. He smiles. And Anas bin Malik said that we were so happy we were about to break our Salah because they hadn't seen Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam for 2 days now. They hadn't seen him. He's still in house of Aisha, really, really sick. And he's going in and out of consciousness. Okay? That's how sick he is. Tremendous amount of fever he has. And they were so happy. Rasulullah smiled, and that was the last time he saw, most people saw him alive. He smiled looking at the people praying Fajr Salah. And then again, commotion developed. Abu Bakr is like, okay, I'm going to step back. Rasulullah is about to come. And then he motions to him, no, stay. He never joins. He didn't have the strength to join. And then his fever intensifies. And it was so much that one of the Sahabis said that the fever of Rasulullah is 10 times that of regular men. That's how hot he was. Like he was putting, like he himself was cooling himself down, pouring water on his head, to basically bring the fever down. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Let's see. I just want to hit the high points. Let's talk about the one beautiful thing. Again, I just want to hit on things that are important to him. So right now, what's important to him? Salah. Did you hear? What is he smiling at? What is he emphasizing? Yeah, even he's not leading the prayer. He wants the prayer to continue. And the last advice is guard your salah, right? Then, Abdul Rahman bin Abu Bakr, okay? The son of Abu Bakr. He's Aisha's brother, by the way. Aisha is the daughter of Abu Bakr. I don't know if you forgot. Okay, so Aisha is the daughter of Abu Bakr. So Abdul Rahman, he comes to visit and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There are obviously other people are visiting as well. I'm talking about this incident for a particular reason. Abdul Rahman had a miswak in his mouth, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam at this time has so much strength he can't even lift a finger. Okay, so Aisha radiallahu anha realizes that he is looking at the miswak of Abdul Rahman. Okay, and so she asked Abdul Rahman. So basically, I think Aisha radiallahu anha, she confirms that you want the miswak, and then Rasulullah says emotions that yes. So she gets the miswak from Abdul Rahman. She turns it around, chews it, makes it soft for him, and then gives it to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And she says he held on to it with such vigor, and he tried to do the miswak like I've never seen him do before, because he wanted to meet Allah subhanahu wa taala with no smell in his mouth. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the last words. So he passed away slightly after Dhuhr Salah. And his last words. So Aisha radiallahu anha, his fever was so intensified. Aisha radiallahu anha didn't know what to do with him. So she basically held him in his arms, and Rasulullah was whispering something, saying something really, really softly. So Aisha radiallahu anha leaned into to listen to what is he saying, and he was saying, Allahumma arhamni, oh Allah forgive me, and let me be with the prophets, the nabiyyin, was salihin, was shuhada. Okay, let me be with the prophets. Let me be with the martyrs and the righteous people. And then she heard him say. Actually, let's look at this hadith if you don't mind before we pray Maghrib. This is one of the last few words of Rasulullah, so I want to make sure you guys understand like what's going on, right? All right. Yeah. So basically, when the fever intensified, she said, this is Aisha radiallahu anha narrating, فَلَمَّا نَزَلَ بِهِ وَرَأْسُهُ عَلَى فَخِذِي, and his head was on my thigh. غُشِيَ عَلَيْهِ, he went unconscious. Okay? ثُمَّ أَفَاقَ, then he came out of, then he became conscious again. So he was going in and out of consciousness because his fever was so much. Then he فأشخص بصره إلى سقف في البيت ثم قال, then he looked up at the roof of the house of the hujra, and he said, Allahumma Ar-Rafiq al-A'la. That, O Allah, the A'la friend. Rafiq means
Closest, highest.
a close friend. So what is A'la? Al-A'la is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's name. Okay? So this is how it's understood. Again, it's just understood. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, one of his last words were, I want to be with Ar-Rafiq al-A'la. I want to be with the A'la friend, the high, the all high. A'la is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, means Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala all high, right? Sabbih isma rabbika al-A'la, or glorify the name of al-A'la, right? Okay. So this reminded of an incident to Aisha radiallahu anha alaykum assalam, where she said, I know what's going on right now. That Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told me that before a prophet passes away, an angel comes down, Jibreel alayhi salam, and gives a choice to the prophet. Do you want to live forever, or do you want to die now and go to Jannah? So this is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam at this point using these words because he's responding back, giving his choice to Jibreel alayhi salam. I want to be with the prophets, and I want to be with the martyrs and the righteous people and the siddiqeen, and I want to be with the Rafiq al-A'la. So those were his last words. So that's what she's saying in this hadith. This is in Bukhari, I think. Yeah. Yes. So those were Rasulullah's last words. Again, I urge you to listen to the whole lecture. It's really, really beautiful. It's heart-wrenching. I promise you, you'll cry when you listen to that. One of the last things that I also want to highlight before we break for Maghrib is yes. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said one time to his companions, let's just read the English. So he said, Abu Huraira narrated that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam went to the graveyard, to the Baqi al-Gharqad, right? And he said salam to the residents of the graveyard. He said, Assalamu alaikum. If inshallah, I will join you soon. So by the way, when we go to the graveyard, that is what we say, right? Assalamu alaikum. That we will join you soon, right? We do the Arabic version of it. Inna insha'Allah bikum lahiqun. We will meet you soon. Okay, so he said that. Then he said something really, really beautiful. وَدِدْتُ أَنِّي قَدْ رَأَيْتُ إِخْوَانَنَا. That he said, I would have loved if I could meet my brethren. So the Sahaba were all confused. It's like, what do you mean you want to meet your brethren? We are here. You can meet us. So he's like, nah. He said, Bal antum ashabi, that you actually are my companions. Wa ikhwani alladhina lam ya'tu ba'du wa ana faratuhum ala al-hawd. Okay, and my brethren are those who have not yet come yet. He's talking about us, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that he would love to meet us, right? And they will come. They have not come yet, and I will reach the hawd before you. So essentially, he is saying that he would love to meet us because we believe in him while he's not even around, right? And I just wanted to end with that. So very quickly, how was he? So people, after he passed away, where does he get buried? So Abu Bakr came up with the remembered that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told him that prophets are buried exactly where they pass away. So he was in the house of Aisha. So exactly where he passed away is exactly where he was buried. How he was shrouded. How was ghusl given to him? People were confused. How do we do ghusl? How do they don't want to take the clothes off of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then basically they heard a voice. All of the people that were worried about, okay, how are they? What are they going to do? They heard a voice, and that was scholars said that was Jibreel alayhi salam saying, "Give him ghusl with his clothes on." So he was given ghusl with his clothes on. There's other beautiful things up there, like Abu Bakr comes and kisses him on his forehead, and he said some beautiful words about him, that look how beautiful you were alive and how beautiful you are looking when you are dead. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Also, right after Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam passed away, all of the Sahaba got super confused. They didn't know what to do. Umar radiallahu anhu was really, really upset, and Abu Bakr calmed him down. He's like, sit down. And then he reminded everybody, those who, then the famous Abu Bakr saying is, those who worship Muhammad know that he's dead, and those who worship Allah, know that he is still alive. He reminded Umar radiallahu anhu of some ayat in the Quran, and Umar radiallahu anhu said that it's as if he was hearing these ayat for the first time, that he finally realized that yes, he is dead and he's a human being and he will pass away. So a lot of commotion happened. So before we talk about the Khilafah of Abu Bakr, the last thing I would say, everybody is confused now. So there's no Jama'ah Salatul Janazah. Right? Because who's going to lead the janazah? Because nobody knows who the Khalifa is. Right? Khalifa has not yet been decided. Rasulullah passed away on a Monday, Dhuhr time. And people came to house of Aisha and individually prayed janazah for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam for 3 days. And he was then buried on a Wednesday without like a Jama'ah Salatul Janazah. Okay? Because everybody's confused who's going to lead the prayer. And then, obviously, Abu Bakr radiallahu anh is elected as the Khalifa. So, anyways, that the end of the Sirah. Now we're going to go into, after Maghrib, we're going to go into, inshallah, the Khulafa Rashidun very, very quick. Not in this kind of detail at all, inshallah.